Canada, there's a lot of potheads and weed is illegalized. But so I don't remember this story, but I remember one of my friends telling me that he told me this story, and he was saying that we were all smoking, and he told me, he's like, I remember you telling me one day I'm going to quit everything and I'm going to become Muslim. Now imagine we're all getting high, right? And I'm saying this. I don't remember this story, but like later on down the road when I reconnected with him, he told me this story. I was like, what? Did I actually say this? So it was very interesting. Like reflecting, I was probably like 16 or 16 at the time saying this, right? So, and by the time I hit 20, that was when I accepted Islam, or formally accepted Islam. I didn't really, I kind of hit rock bottom, didn't really hit rock bottom. It's more, not in the dunya sense, but it's more so like I had a very bad relationship with my parents. I had a very bad relationship with myself. Like I felt like I was living a lie. I felt like I was doing a lot of things that was pleasing others instead of my own self, or wasn't being true to myself. And I remember one night, and I sincerely prayed and made dua and to God, and eventually, like from that night or after the night, I felt some form of relief. And it has been a while since then that I've like from 11 to like that 20, that whole gap, that I sincerely prayed to God, that I sincerely asked for anything from God, and was that felt like I felt, regret, of like true regret, and wanted to change, real change. And then around that time, my circle of friends, some of them were conveniently enough were becoming more practicing in Islam, and I became Muslim kind of through them. Like I became Muslim, but they aided me and guided me. I went to the masjid and I took my shahada there, and that's what pretty much started my whole conversion story or reversion story.
Wow. Yeah. Was there a final switch? Like like your friend started more practicing. Was that the final switch? Is there one more thing that was like, okay, it's time? Because I know there's two differences with reverts. There's like the one where it's kind of just gradually leads to it. And then there's the other where it's like something happens, or they learn a new thing, or they have a certain experience, and it's like, okay, it has to happen now.
I think it was like the catalyst was when I was in a very, very dark place within myself. And it all accumulated, like, not having a good relationship with my parents. And I was at that time, I was in a very, like, I don't know why, but we moved to a very, very small town out west in like BC area. And so it was like, I'm originally like a city boy, then I go back to a small like country bumpkin town. So I was very out of place. But it was that whole time learning about Islam, it's like I got to a point where, okay, I've accepted that as the truth, but I just wasn't ready, or I was afraid. And that point where I hit rock bottom, I was like, I'm ready for change. It's just I wasn't ready for that change, or I wasn't ready to, I guess, it's like no looking back, because I knew that I'm like, all right, if I become Muslim, there's no going back, right? And I wasn't ready to pull that trigger. But at that time, I was like, all right, it's now or never. And that was, I guess it was like through, I guess, the chain of events. But yeah, I wasn't confident in myself becoming Muslim at like 16, 17, 18. But at 20, I was like, all right, it's it's long overdue. And it was essentially after that dua, or that little prayer I made at night, and I flew back to the same city, and yeah, that's where I became Muslim, took my shahada.